Welcome to the second session on the chapter Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, written by the American author Annie Dillard. Before moving on to the fourth paragraph, I would like to give a quick recapitulation of the first three paragraphs. In the first paragraph, Annie Dillard discusses her visit to Tinker Creek. One day, she reached Tinker Creek and there she saw many frogs. Some of these frogs were in the water and some of these frogs were outside the water. Frogs were flying all around her that particular day. And later she noticed a particular frog which was half in and half out of the water, and unlike the other frogs on that island, it did not jump. And to the author, it looked like a schematic diagram of an amphibian. So this is the summary of the first paragraph, and in the second paragraph the author discussed the way this particular frog got killed in the water. She knelt on the winter-killed grass of the island. While she was looking at that frog, it slowly crumbled and began to sag. The spirit vanished from its eyes. Its skin emptied and drooped. Its skull collapsed and settled like a kicked tent. The frog just got shrunk in front of her eyes, just like a deflating football. And part of the skin of this particular frog appeared on top of the water, and later it began to sink. And so the second paragraph is about the way that particular frog got killed in the water. And in the third paragraph, she talks about a giant water bug. She discusses how giant water bugs usually feed on their prey. With their mighty forelegs, they seize their prey and hug these prey so tight and paralyze their prey with enzymes injected into that prey's body. And through the puncture made by that very bite, it shoots the poison which will dissolve the victim's muscles and bones and organs, everything inside the skin. And all these things, that is muscles, bones and organs inside the skin, will be reduced to juice, and later the water bug sucks out the juice. So that also is discussed, that is discussed in the third paragraph. And so the third paragraph is about the way the giant water bugs, which are usually seen in warm fresh water, kill and feed on their prey. And let me do the fourth paragraph now. Let me read it first. Of course, many carnivorous animals devour their prey alive. The usual method seems to be to subdue the victim by downing or grasping it so it can't flee, then eating it whole or in a series of bloody bites. Frogs eat everything whole, stuffing prey into their mouth with their thumbs. People have seen frogs with their wide jaws so full of live dragonflies they couldn't close them. Ants don't even have to catch their prey. In the spring, they swarm over a newly hatched featherless bird in the nest and eat them tiny bite by bite. Let me discuss the first part of this paragraph. In the first part, the author discusses how carnivorous animals usually devour their prey. The usual method used by carnivorous animals to subdue their victims is by downing or by grasping, so that the prey can't flee, the prey can't run away from these animals. Downing simply means bringing the victim onto the ground. The carnivorous animals, usually animals like lions and tigers jump on their prey and bring these prey to the ground. So that is the meaning of downing. So carnivorous animals usually subdue or conquer their victims by downing or by grasping it so tight so these prey can't flee, the prey can't run away. Then after conquering the prey, the carnivorous animals eat the prey whole or in a series of bloody bites. So that is the first part of this paragraph. And in the second part, she discusses how frogs usually eat their prey. Frogs eat everything whole. We have seen that frogs usually stuff prey into their mouth with their thumbs. We have seen that we have seen frogs with their wide mouths so full of dragonflies, so much so that they can't even close their mouth. So this is how frogs eat their prey. Unlike the carnivorous animals, frogs usually stuff their prey into their mouth with their thumbs. So that is described in the second part. And in the final part of this paragraph, the author Annie Dillard discusses how ants usually catch their prey. Or she says that ants don't even have to catch their prey. Unlike the carnivorous animals, ants do not even have to catch their prey. We know that ants usually feed on dead insects or other food items. And one example is given here. In the spring, they swarm over newly hatched featherless birds in the nest and eat them tiny bite by bite. Ants attack a nest of a bird, and the newly hatched featherless birds in the nest would be crowded over by these ants, and these ants kill these newly hatched featherless birds in the nest and eat them tiny bite by bite. So that is the third part of this paragraph. So this paragraph is about how certain animals devour their prey. She talks about carnivorous animals, she talks about the amphibian frog, and she talks about ants, which don't even have to catch their prey, and usually and she even discusses how these ants in large numbers attack bird's nest and kill the newly hatched featherless bird in it. So that's about the fourth paragraph of this chapter.